All right, welcome to the third installment of the 2025 season of the Grant Cougars Coaches Show with head coach Jarvous Felton here at Route 22 wood-fired food here in Dry Prong, Louisiana, right in the heart of Dry Prong, Louisiana. And we are excited to bring you this show each and every week. Just to talk about Grant Cougar football, talk to some of the Grant Cougar football players, talk to the Grant Cougar coaches, and we've got a great show here tonight. We've got a couple of young men, a couple of standout defensive players that made play after play Friday night in Matthew Cooper and Jake Glass, and we've got the defensive coordinator, Coach Hill, and we also have the defensive line coach, Coach Beard, is going to be talking to us here tonight. My name is Chad James. This guy right here is my partner in crime. This is Coach Thomas Laborde. Coach, you doing all right?
I thought we were at the Hard Rock.
Hard Rock?
Hotel.
No, not
in
quite.
Dry Prong.
Not quite.
We're excited to be here tonight with Coach Felton and talk some of our favorite football. That's Cougars football.
Cougar football.
That's it.
Coach Felton.
How we doing?
We're doing good. You know, we always have to talk about this, and I know this is not something that you really are fond of doing, but we got to talk about the game Friday night. Now, we like to talk about them when we have like a week one outcome, when we set records and all those things. Friday night, we didn't get the result that we were hoping for, but I want, from the head man's perspective, are there any positive takeaways that we can take away from that football game?
There's a lot of positive things that you could take from the game. Number one is our kids never quit. They battled out the entire game, and that's something that, you know, you got to have that in your heart. You really can't coach that. Is either you want it or you don't.
Right.
And our kids showed that they want it. Based off, you know, I told our kids don't even look at the scoreboard for the second half. Well, let's define who we are as a team, and let's carry that over for the rest of the season. And let's see what we truly are capable of doing if we just all stick together. And I think they did that. You know, they came out the second half, and there was no bickering and there was no arguing. You know, they stuck together. They held each other accountable. There was a couple of times where you had guys that were messed up in a play, and they were pointing at themselves. And we talk about being a thumb teammate. You know,
yeah.
Don't blame anybody else. If you messed up, say, hey, that was me, and move on to the next play. So just a lot of things that we could be thankful for our team. You know, we had a couple of injuries throughout the game that we had to throw some guys in there that it's not their fault, but they wasn't ready. But at the end of the day, we preach to our kids, it's always next man up. So we need to always be prepared, always paying attention to install, always paying attention to practice, to where you never know when your opportunity will present itself. So,
speaking of injuries, we had a couple of key offensive linemen that went down early in the game. Do you have any update for the folks? Caleb Furman and I believe Pennington both went down with injury.
Yeah, they went to the doctor today, looking at 7 to 10 days. Deontay was trying to fight us out on Monday to come out and practice on Monday, and I was like, no, you're going to manage the water for us today and make sure that the water is secured. And I just want you to be a leader and keep the intensity up, hold kids accountable, and he's done a really good job this week of taking care of the little things and making sure that our kids are staying engaged and locked in throughout practice. And even though that he's not out there playing, he's still there with his teammates, and he's still helping coaching those guys up. So that shows team led.
Sure, absolutely. Just for our you Cougar fans out there, a couple of guys had concussions, and so that's a good thing that the LHSAA has now. You hear it all the time on college and professional football, concussion protocol. So to make sure those kids are completely healthy before they come back and play. So we're glad we got a good report on those kids. Coach, you got any thoughts?
Oh, absolutely.
I knew you did.
Coach, one thing I think we want to talk about is the age of the team. You know, you and I have been on some teams that similar results, but the guys were young. You know, when you look at this team and you see guys like Ahmad Sykes, Keith McKinney, Matthew Cooper, Gage Husseini, they're not seniors. You know, how do you talk to them to, hey guys, this program has been in this situation before with guys like Donovan Gray and Mark McCoy, and they stayed the course, and you know, it's a great result.
Yeah, we're talking about the Mason man at chipping on the rock,
Right.
Yeah.
and understanding that it might be a time to where when we take a chip, it might not be the perfect figure that we want, but we're still trying to make this beauty of art.
Right.
So we got to just continue to chip at the rock, man. So continue to fight. Understand that our season is not over. Let's flush that. Let's move ahead. And our goal, again, this week is try to be 1-0. That's our main goal.
You know, one of my favorite guys over there at Ash, Thomas Bachman, he made a comment some years ago, everybody has a team, but few have a program. You know, as a program, it's a reflection of how you respond, I think, this week and going forward versus just having a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which goes back to our topic that we talked about this past week. It was titled "A Hairpin in the Road."
Right.
And you have 2 turns you can make. So we're at this pivot point of we can turn this way and feel sorry for ourselves and, you know, get by, survive, or we could continue the course and stay straight and narrow and understand the mission that we have as a team and continue down that road and to accomplish that main goal. So,
And Chad, I don't think we're going to let a loss to Buckeye, you know,
No.
deter this program
No.
from
That's
the great
it.
things it's got going on.
You know, there were some things in the game Friday night. You and I were talking before we went on air. It's very difficult to overcome when the opposing team, their starting field position is at your own 32-yard
Yeah.
line.
yeah.
That really puts your defense puts their back against the wall. But the response.
And they didn't ever checked up.
No, they did not.
We was like, defense is out. All right, let's go.
we were in the booth calling the game, and there was a critical series there early in the game where you just had to have a stop and watched one of the young men that we're going to be talking to. Well, actually, both of them were involved in it, but one in particular, he had 3 or 4 plays in a row there where he had tackles for loss. And you talk about responding, you know, when your back's against the wall, responding. And, you know, these players, they're great players, but I do see a reflection of what you guys are instilling in them. I love the fact that you use a lot of analogies. I'm a preacher, and so we use analogies, right?
Yeah.
And so I love seeing those analogies. Folks, you just saw me wave to somebody in here. We got some folks in here. You may hear a little bit of the racket here at Route 22. Folks enjoying food and just fellowship, visiting with one another. We've talked a lot about the defense. Offensively, the week before we had a record-setting performance, and of course we had a couple of key injuries there. But Buckeye, I mean, they were stacking the box and they were sending pressure all night long.
Right.
All night long.
Engage 8.
And it was almost as if they were saying, you know, we may get beat here tonight, but number one's not going to beat us. And really couldn't get, particularly in the running game, and just really kind of struggled to get you know, your playmakers the ball in space. Because, I mean, the quarterback was having to dish it, hand it off, throw it, do whatever he was going to do really quick. So going forward now, we talked a little bit about our injury updates, and that's good news to hear. But this week in practice, you've got a short week. For those of you that don't know, the Cougars are playing Thursday night. And so you got a short week. You're kind of having a cram. How's that going this week?
Oh, it's been going great. You know, we took up the little things that we needed to work on from this past week that could carry over later in the season, because we told our guys, like, everyone knows what we're trying to do now, so they're going to try to do everything they can to stop it.
Yeah.
So just putting those guys in those bad situations, that way in the game, they're not so rattled.
Yeah.
So we've had a great week so far. Typically Mondays is not really a fly around, high intensity day because they've had 3 days off. We have no school that day. So they come in and kind of sluggish. And I think yesterday was our best Monday practice overall since we started this year. So I'm excited.
So you think perhaps this loss Friday night built a fire on them?
Yeah, I mean, I expected the opposite, but when we got outside, I was like, man, they are ready to go. They have it on their mind. So that's exciting to see. It was again, we said, hey guys, like based off the game and what our standards are, which standards do you think that we met? And we met accountability. We stayed committed to the game because it showed with us finishing the game. But what did we lack? And that was toughness.
Yeah.
So let's define again all three, and let's attack all three this week.
You got anything to add to that, Coach, before I get into this fundraiser that I want to talk about in a minute?
Well, what's the most popular position on the football field?
It's the quarterback.
And we saw a lot of the sophomore.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Darbone Woods is going to ask this question more so than anybody here. Who's the guy going forward?
At quarterback?
Yes, sir.
Miles took a couple really bad hits this past week, and he's bruised up. And one thing about Miles, I mean, he showed that toughness because there was times we was like, all right, Miles, like, come on now, buddy. And he's literally like barely walking and pushing guys like, no, I want to stay out there. And I'm like, I appreciate the toughness, but it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
So
it's a long season.
Yes. So hopefully he heals up. Monday was it was a little rough for him. Today he was able to do a little bit more. So we're going to see how he feels tomorrow, and we'll determine, if we should let him sit or not.
How's that other young man feeling about his opportunity?
Hey, he got a little dose of it, and I like Gage, and I love Gage, and I love his leadership. He's not very vocal, but he's a kid that has a very bright future ahead of him, and it's always good to get him in the groove. And that's the plus side of having two quarterbacks, because we can always use both of them. So this week now, hey Gage, we're giving you the rings if that opportunity presents himself, and hey, you got to take charge.
For our viewers, they may not realize it. Miles is a senior, but Miles, not only does he play quarterback, he is also a very important part of the Cougar defense.
Mm-hmm.
He plays free safety back there, and he's very productive. I know he doesn't mind coming up and making a hit.
No, he doesn't.
At all. And he's also proven to be very effective in playing pass defense. And so if he's a little banged up, it probably wouldn't hurt for him to just let's focus on one side of the ball. But,
yes. That's what we did the second half. It was like, all right, we understand that you're hurting. We want you, you've been rattled. Hey, we're going to let you just finish the game and play one side of the ball. And he was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want, And he went up to Gage and he said, hey, man, you got it. Built him up. And that's what we want, So
that's wonderful. I love to hear that.
Well, Chad, I think you need to talk now about this incredible raffle. He can't sustain himself, folks. I mean, I almost didn't want to ask the question and get another conversation started.
So for the last, what is it now, Coach? 3 years?
3 years.
3 years. The Grant Gridiron Club has been having a gun raffle. And it is wonderful. I'm telling you what, it is absolutely wonderful. The tickets go on sale now. Now, I don't have time to read every gun that is on this sheet.
I thought I saw a Red Ryder BB gun on the 31st.
with a compass in the stock. But for every beginning November the 1st, every day in the month of November, they will be drawing a ticket and you get to win the gun of your choice on that list. Everyone, when you get a buy tickets, you'll know what all the guns are. But here's the thing: you can buy one ticket, and your ticket is good for the month. If they don't draw your number, you're still in the drawing throughout the month, and you can't beat this. It's $25 a ticket, or you can buy 5 tickets for $100. And so this is a big fundraiser here.
Which gives you 1 ticket free.
Yes, one. There you go. Look at it. Look at math skills.
So you can have 5 tickets and win 5 guns.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You can't beat that.
Why go to the casino? This is even better.
So they've got some really nice guns on here. A lot of really good stuff. There's several on here that I'd like to get. But who can they get? Who can our viewers? Who do they need to contact to get themselves a ticket?
Right there down at the bottom, it has a contact number.
Okay, I
call
see it
Mr.
here.
Eddie Joe at 318-201-7575.
That's 318-201-7575.
And that's Eddie Joe Borland.
That's it.
Give him a call, and they'll tell you all about it and get you set up.
You have to make sure you pass the background check, though, now.
Yes.
Yes. So I've got a big stack of them
use
here.
the name of the person that's eligible.
Exactly. I'm going to get mine. Go ahead and get mine here tonight. I get it, and I put it on the refrigerator, and I expect.
You wait for that phone call.
I just wait for the phone call is what I do.
We're going to pray over it.
On the other side of the break, we're going to take a break in just a minute. And on the other side, we're going to talk to a couple of young men, a couple of outstanding young men and outstanding football players for the Grant Cougars, Mr. Matthew Cooper and Mr. Jake Glass. So stay with us, and we will be right back here for the Grant Cougars Coaches Show right here on 446 Sports.
Central Louisiana. This is your home for live sports action. From the field to the court, 446 Sports delivers the games you love with expert commentary and passionate coverage. Cheer for your favorite athletes and relive the moments that define our community spirit. Our sponsors keep us in the game. Together, we bring you the best in local sports coverage. Join the 446 Sports family today. Watch, cheer, celebrate. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. 446 Sports, where Central Louisiana comes to play.
Welcome back to Route 22, right here in the heart of Dry Prong, Louisiana, for the Grant Cougars Coaches Show. We've been talking to Coach Felton, Coach LeBoer. We've talked a little bit about Friday night, and we've got a couple of standout football players, a couple of standout Cougars here that play. Actually, they play on both sides of the ball, but Matthew does anyway. But
I think when Matthew goes in, we know it's Matthew.
Yes.
When Jake goes in to offense, he changes jerseys, and we forget that he's out there.
We do. We're gonna
tell you about that story.
Yeah, we're gonna tell you about that story in just a second. But I want to introduce a couple of guys to you. We're gonna start down there on the end, then we're gonna come back to you, Matthew. This young man down here on the end, his name is Jake Glass. And we talked on the radio last year a little bit to Jake, and Jake is a senior, plays defensive end here for the Cougars. Jake, how are you feeling today?
I feel good.
You feel good?
Yes, sir.
Well, Jake is, I had a couple of questions. You know, you're a senior. You're on the defensive line, and how does it feel to be a senior leader on this football team? Is it a lot of pressure?
I do think it is a lot of pressure to step up and take the leadership role, especially coming after a lot of good leaders that the Cougars have had over the past few years. But I think it really is a privilege to be able to lead the team after 4 years of watching everybody come and go. Now it's our senior year, so it's our turn to lead.
That's a pretty good answer, don't you think, Coach?
Well rehearsed. He's been thinking about that one all day.
He's been thinking about it. Now Jake, you started off when you first started playing football. You didn't play on the defensive line, did you? You were a quarterback, weren't you?
Yes, sir, I was.
I tend to forget about that. My son played here, and he was a couple of years older than Jake, and Jake was a quarterback then. But now he's filled out. He looks like a defensive end, doesn't he, Coach?
Well, I remember him playing wide receiver at one point, I think.
He did.
He did.
He did. Caught a touchdown up at Neville. I remember that.
So, you've been all over. What's been your favorite? You can tell us honestly.
Defensive end, I think, is definitely my favorite. I just feel like it's a natural fit for me.
Well, speaking of natural fit, you do, each position group, they kind of have a prototypical build, physically for a player, and you definitely fit that type, that build to play defensive end. Now, we joked a little bit earlier. Now, I want to tell you, Jake, you had no idea. You were locked in, focused on the game. So you don't know what he and I are talking about up in the booth as we're broadcasting.
And so I'm watching, and I don't see 14. I saw him the first half, and I'm looking, and I'm saying, well, maybe something happened. Maybe he had an injury. And I kept noticing, I think it was 71, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I said,
it
this
was.
71 kid looks incredible. They should put him and Jake out at the same time. And then we came to realize that was you.
Yeah.
We noticed the 25 armbands on your leg.
On his leg. But that was that was a funny moment because we were trying to figure out who number 71 was, and Coach Laborde even mentioned during the broadcast that Jake Glass is not in the game. But we kept looking at 71 and we were going, he really passes the eye test though for Jake. And then we discovered it was you, and the reason why you were wearing 71 is because you had to play right tackle.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that before?
No, sir, I haven't.
So how did that feel? I mean, we've talked about you playing quarterback, you've played wide receiver, a defensive end, and now you had to go in and play right tackle. Did that overwhelm you at any point?
I think it definitely did put some pressure on me. I played tight end some, but I mean, we've joked about it in practice sometimes, putting me at right tackle or left tackle, but having to do it, it did put a lot of pressure on me. But I was excited to.
I'm sure it did.
That reminds me of a story that we once, against Caldwell Parish, we once dressed Landon Valley up in number 80 at left tackle because we were going to run a tackle-eligible pass play. But he can't catch the ball in a lineman number. But he also can't go out there and play tackle in that alignment. So we had to change mid-drive.
I do remember that.
You remember that?
I do remember that.
We've got to, the Cougars are known for,
being innovative. That's what we're going to say. Jake, you are senior. We talked about that. And so oftentimes, the older players like to leave a legacy to the younger ones. What do you see is your legacy leaving to some of these younger players?
I'd like to say that you could accomplish whatever you want to, whatever you put your mind to. Lead by action, not just words.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Really just focus on leading the team and making the team better and stronger, and not just play for yourself, but play for the team, and know that the team can be like a very great program, and just to keep building with it.
That is awesome. We're really proud of you. We enjoy calling your number. I know Jake's one of those players, and we talked about this, that when he steps off the bus, the other team kind of goes, oh, okay, well, look at this one. But we are proud of you. We think you're doing a wonderful, wonderful job. Appreciate your willingness to play wherever the team needs you, and that's a wonderful quality to have. We appreciate you, Jake. This young man that's sitting beside me.
We know his name. We have it.
Yeah.
We didn't call it enough Friday night.
We didn't call his name enough Friday night. If you heard us saying the name Matthew Cooper, number 37, this is him. The one and only. This young man is a sophomore here at Grant High School. We started last year. He was a freshman, got some playing time, and we called his name some then, but really now this year you're seeing a progression, just growing as a football player. And I want to tell you, you played a heck of a game. I know, look, guys, we lost the game, okay,
Yeah.
but you played a heck of a ball game.
So I'm going to read the numbers. We got 20 tackles, 8 for loss, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, and the 81-yard recovery for a touchdown to end the game. Incredible
Individual performance. In fact, as the game, time ran out on the game, we always have a Southern Air cool play of the game. And it was a tough night, and so we were struggling to find one. And that play, that last play of the game, the scoop and score, that was our Southern Air cool play of the game. And so, look, tell us a little bit about Matthew Cooper as a football player. Tell us about a football player. I mean, how do you look? You're a young guy, just a sophomore, and so that could be some pressure on a young man, because you're definitely a leader on that football team out there on the field. How does that feel?
I do think it does apply a lot of pressure towards me as a sophomore, because, being young compared to everybody else on the team, I feel like that I have to show myself, or I have to show for other kids my age, that everything's possible. And like the scoop and score y'all were talking about, I've been told since junior high and Red River football is always play till you hear the whistle.
Yep.
So whether it had time left on the clock or not, I continue to play, and I will continue to hustle.
Man, you keep doing that. I tell you what, those 20 tackles, 8 of them were for loss.
Correct.
There was a series early in the game.
I think we called your name all 4 plays.
Every play. I was just blown away. You had 3 or 4 plays there in a row where you made a tackle for loss, really when the team needed a stop. And to see you step up and make those plays when the team needed, it was just outstanding. Now, you do play both sides of the ball, not all the time, but you do get quite a few reps throughout a game at running back. Let me ask you, because we kind of asked Jake sort of the same question, and I think I already know what the answer is going to be. What do you like playing, middle linebacker or running back?
Middle linebacker.
I knew that was going to be your answer.
Yes, sir.
I was when I played, I was an offensive lineman. You can probably look at me and tell that, but there was a couple of times on scout when I was in high school that I got to play middle linebacker. Just happened to go out there and do that, and I'm going to tell you what, I loved that. But I was not any good at it. You're very good at it.
Thank you.
How would you, I know this is probably a difficult question for you, but coming off you had a heck of a ball game. Coming off of a loss, how do you lead the younger guys, even the older guys? Because I'm going to tell you, you're a leader on the football team as a sophomore. How do you lead? Because you're a quiet guy. You're not you're loud mouth, rah-rah guy. You're a quiet guy. How do you lead? Is it by your effort and by your example?
Yes, sir. I lead through actions, always through actions. I show that you must always fully commit, no matter what play, no matter what down, no matter how the score looks, you always commit. You should always commit.
One thing I want to ask you real quick, as you transition, you got 2 years left, obviously, but as you transition to that leadership role, we saw another talented young man start the game beside you, Javon Davis.
Yeah.
And he played a heck of a ball game, too, that we saw. What was it like having someone even younger than you out there
Yes, sir.
playing?
It's like, it's not exactly like having, because he has such a great skill, it's not exactly like me having to look over my shoulder and see if he knows what he's doing, because he's already there, and I respect that.
Now correct me if I'm wrong. That's Kareem Gaines' little brother, isn't it?
Sir?
Is he Kareem Gaines' little brother?
Yes, sir, he is.
Oh, so Kareem, our listeners will remember Kareem from a couple of years ago, great player here at Grant. This is his little brother, and I didn't realize it was his little brother because the last time I saw Kareem, his little brother was a little bitty guy, and now here he is playing football for the Grant Cougars. And so I'm glad, I'm excited to be able to watch you, have been able to watch you beginning as a sophomore, and you got 2 more years. Man, you got a bright future ahead of you in this game, and I'm excited to see what you're going to do here playing for these Grant Cougars. I mean, we're really, really proud of you.
And one of the stats that stands out, and I'm going to pick on Matthew a little bit, there were no flags on Matthew this week.
No
late hit, nothing like that, just hard hitting.
Oh, just hitting hard, just
We're
playing
loving it.
gritty. A middle linebacker's got to have a little bit of an edge about him, and you definitely got that. And so we're really proud of you. You got any final thoughts? You got a microphone. I want to give you an opportunity to talk.
We lost, but I feel like as of what I've seen in practice, that everybody's keeping their heads up, and we're ready for this game Thursday.
I like to hear that. I like it. Y'all stay with us on the other side of the break. If you see Matthew around, if you go to school at Grant, pat him on the back. If you see him out there wherever throughout the day or throughout your week, pat him on the back and encourage him. Man, this is a great, fine young man, fine young football player. On the other side of the break, we've had a couple of defensive players here that we've been talking to, and we're going to have some defensive coaches. We'll have the defensive coordinator, Coach Hill, and the defensive line coach, Coach Beard, are going to be here, and we're going to talk a little bit to them. But stay with us right here on the Grant Cougar Coaches Show, right here on 446 Sports.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. And speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
Check out some of our recent work at the Panthers Stadium. In addition to custom signs and banners, we also handle custom trophies, custom awards, custom vehicle wraps, and more. Give us a call. We handle projects large and small.
Welcome back to Route 22, right here on 446 Sports with the Grant Cougars Coaches Show. And Normally we say coaches, it's with the apostrophe S, because we talked to head coach Jarvous Felton, but in this case, it's going to be the plural form of coaches. We've got a couple of the defensive coaches here for the Cougars. And I'll talk to him since he's sitting right here beside me. This is the defensive coordinator for the Cougars. This is Coach Hill. Coach, listen, we lost the game, right? So we lost the game Friday night. But I want to tell you what, your unit played a heck of a ball game. We just talked to Matthew Cooper and Jake Glass, and man, you got to be, in spite of the loss, you got to be proud of some of the things they did Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, and no doubt. I mean, I thought those kids played hard and continue to play hard like throughout the game till the very end. We talked about fixing a few things and mostly about body language, but I never thought the guys quit. And they executed the game plan like we wanted. And they were dealt a tough hand. I watched the 446 streaming of the game today, and I saw that you asked. I was wondering what the average starting position was. So I figured it was the 32.
32
so,
yard line.
And I thought they did a great job. They had 14 possessions, and to hold them out of the end zone, but for 6. I mean, you got to tip your hats for those guys for giving all the effort that they give, and continue to play until the end of the fourth quarter.
We talk oftentimes, coach here, play caller, offensive coach. Certain situations in football, your playbook kind of shrinks. There's not a lot of plays that you can call. As a defensive coordinator, when you have your back against the wall, talking about that average starting position for the Buckeye team at the 32-yard line, I would imagine that makes your job pretty difficult in calling defense.
And when we talk about bending and not breaking, but at that point you're almost already to the bending and the breaking point.
Right.
But it's just anchoring down and trying to get those guys moving. That's why Matthew was on a few blitzes like back to back to back because they weren't picking him up early, and it was just trying to speed up their offense a little bit and trying to get pressure on them. 42 is a great kid, and I mean he runs the ball hard.
Big kid.
Yeah. And I think the first 2 weeks of the season, when you saw two quarterbacks that run the ball really well and run the ball really hard, and then moving the next week, we're getting this same type of action, just a whole different type of ball game with the offense they run. Darbon Woods runs. They try to put you in a phone booth and beat you up. They run a single wing. I coached a long time at Marksville when I was there, when I was on the offensive side. So, you kind of have to sit back and be really disciplined whenever you play defense against teams like that, is that you have to be gap sound and make your correct reads, and they'll take you to the football, but it's more discipline and more blitzing and getting things, action going.
Right.
Coach, one thing we noticed in the game, and we said this over and over, the score did not reflect the defensive performance I felt. And that's why you watch the games. Every 10 plays, 9 were positive for Grant. And then, there was one play that gave it up. One thing we did notice, though, is, there were a few injuries. You got a lot of young guys out there, like Javon Davis. How do you feel like he responded to that call?
I think Javon stepped up, especially from the first week. He wasn't in that starting role the first week, but he did step up this week. But it does show he does have some growing pains to go through as being a freshman, and it showed up a little bit at times the other night, just a little bit more tentative. But through this week of practice, he's starting to catch on and understand the nuances of how to read an offense and how to read your guards and how to read your offensive linemen. So I think he's had a better week of practice, and he's picking it up. And it's great to have those young guys that pick it up pretty quick like that, just like Matthew did last year. Mm-hmm. And you look at our defense, we might have returned quite a bit on the back end, but that box that we rely so heavily on is pretty young.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're going to go through some growing pains, but I think those guys have picked it up pretty quick and continue to catch on.
Coach, when it comes to schematics and everything, can you hear me?
I can't.
Okay. When it comes to schematics and everything like that, I've seen it before time and time again, even when I coached here. You can put kids in the right spot, and it doesn't mean it's going to, result in the right play. Can you talk about these kids, and maybe they're not there yet knowledge-wise, but what about their toughness? Are they just going to go out there and put their body on the line and make a play?
Yeah, I mean,
you can't really coach that.
No, you can't, and that's one thing you can't coach effort. You can't coach toughness. You can put them in the right place. You can have a game plan set out, and it looks great on paper. But once you get out there, it's those guys that have to do it. We can't get out there and do it for them. They have to be able to react. And coming from a lot of these guys coming from the junior high, and it was see ball, get ball. Now it's having to read an offense and react to the football and understand down a distance and all that stuff that goes along with of reading the football during the game. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of game plan you have. It's those guys that got to get out there and losing a kid like Landon Frady last year, he was one of those guys that you didn't have to get him going. And we got some guys that'll go and they're tough. It's just to get it out, and there are a lot of silent leaders out there. And we're trying to find that leader on defense that's kind of like that Landon Frady, but and those are few and far between. But
there was nothing silent about Matthew Cooper's performance.
Right, not his performance. That's what I'm saying. He says it on the field, but he doesn't say it with his mouth, but he says it on the field.
But that's called the cat defense, Chad. You ever heard of that?
Yes.
You got that cat, and I got this
that cat. I haven't heard that in a long time. You've got some good defensive backs. We've seen those guys. I mean, they're not afraid to come up and hit people. I really like to see that because, oftentimes, corners, they kind of get a little bit of a stigma. We like to play coverage, but we really don't like to tackle. But you got some corners out there. Keith McKinney, one in particular, he doesn't mind coming up and taking on a running back.
All right, I definitely think Keith is feeling himself a little bit this year. I don't know if Isaiah getting to go play at LCU has a little something with it, but he's definitely feeling himself. And again, that's part of our defense that we've returned quite a bit, and we have a little bit of experience on that side.
And we'd love you to talk about, because we don't have him on our roster, but we see him out there at the last 3 games. Number 19, playing cornerback.
That would be Grayson. What's Grayson's last name? Stroud.
He's doing a phenomenal job. Is he? What classification is he?
He is a sophomore.
So another young guy that's out there just playing hard.
Yeah. And we got some guys that are rotating, and like I said, they're doing a good job. I mean, if you look at from the game Friday night, I think Buckeye had 57 passing yards, 3 completions. Their total yardage was right around 280, 290. Again, like I said, they were on the field for a lot. We were on the field for a lot. And I thought those guys did a great job.
Absolutely, Coach. Yeah. I mean, you came out, stopped them three straight times in the red zone.
Yeah.
It just continued to put them in a bad spot.
Yep.
And they responded, and I like that they responded, especially at the very end. We were on air talking about they'll probably take a knee here, and they didn't.
Right.
For all intents and purposes, whatever that is. But and neither did the Grant defense.
Right.
They made something happen that last play.
Right. And continue to play to the end. And that's what I asked them. I thought the first week we played one good quarter, and I asked them. I put it out in front of them to play 4 good quarters.
Yeah. And they did. They played. They played a good game. This young man down here is this is Coach Beard. He is the defensive line coach. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
That's wonderful. A defensive line. Oftentimes, you talk about the coordinators and all these different things, but the specific position coach. We talked to your counterpart last week in Coach Cowan. You coach a defensive line, and I've talked to one of your players, Jake Glass, who's doing a magnificent job. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the kids you got up there? I know we had kids graduate out and in different ones, and I know you do a lot of subbing, especially at that interior position. Can you talk a little bit about those kids?
Yes, sir. So it's tough whenever you lose 2 guys like Cortland Eli and Bo Candela. I mean, 2 guys are just going to lay it out there for you and leave no doubt every time they step on the field. I mean, it's hard losing those 2, but returning Jake has been a blessing for us. I mean, really. And I told him last week, the big kid, 74, put him in front of him.
Yeah.
I said, he can't play with you. And the times that Jake did it right, I mean, 74 was 5 yards in the backfield and couldn't touch Jake.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's amazing to have him back. And then
Caden's on, sliding him from the outside backer position, sliding him down to defensive line, it's made a good difference. He stunts very well. He kind of has a decent get-off. I want him to play with his hands a little bit better and get a little bit quicker first step, but that's just going to come with time with the new position.
Right.
And then in terms of the nose, I mean, I'm trying everybody that I can because we just don't have
that guy.
Yeah.
That body type.
Right, and you don't really have the beef.
Yeah.
You know, that the offensive line has. So I've had to steal like Madden Blaylock and Deontay and stick them at the nose spot from time to time, and then put Jaden Danzy in there and stun him one way and send the back or the other, just to give our defense a different look and give us the best opportunity to win games.
We've talked a lot about that nose position. That's a block eater, I like to call it. And we talked a little bit about Jake having the body type, and so that nose is a particular body type, that zero technique, and those are hard to find.
Yes, they are. And I would say that is probably the hardest position as a defensive lineman, because you can get doubled from any direction. You can get triple teamed at any point in the game. You can get let go and they run outside of you. I mean, so much goes into just playing that one position. And you're playing two gaps instead of just one.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Bo Cannell. I know he's graduated. Now, Bo, if I remember correctly, we talked about that body type. Bo did not have that zero technique body type.
No.
But I'm telling you, that young man's heart was as big as he was. And his effort was just it was outstanding.
And, you know, that's something that you can't coach into a kid. No. But that right there will win you 80% of the battles. It really will. Because, I mean, Bo played against kids who – I said, Bo, I'm just going to be honest. I don't know how you're going to do this week. I mean, you're playing against a 6'3", 300-pound offensive lineman, and the guy next to him is 5'8" and 300 pounds. I don't know how this is going to go. And he would hold his own. I mean, it takes heart more than anything.
And he had an abundance of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're going to be playing Darbone Woods Thursday night, not Friday night. I almost said Friday night.
Thursday night, tune in.
Yes, Thursday night. Tune in Thursday night. You're going to be playing those guys, and I'm a firm believer that a football game is won at the line of scrimmage.
I agree.
And so, what are your guys going to be facing there at Darbone Woods?
A very good offensive line that pulls very well and is going to down block everybody.
So,
pretty much.
I remembered them from last year. You guys played them last year, and I remember them being very good last year.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if maybe they had forgotten how to do all of that or not.
I mean, you can definitely tell they have some missing pieces that guys graduated last year. They've got first-year players coming in, and whether they be freshmen, sophomores, or juniors, it's just their first year getting varsity playing time, and you can kind of tell who those guys are. But overall, they're very well coached, and they run that single wing offense very, very, very well.
Execution, man, execution.
That's all it is. You know, you talked earlier about, you know, body types and stuff, and you don't control who shows up to the high school.
No.
Well, you know, you can a little.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that. What's it like coaching a guy like Jake Glass who walks in and is like, he looks the part, now all I got to do is get him ready?
It's frustrating at times and it's fun at times because he sees competition level that's nowhere near his full potential. And so you can get complacent.
Yeah.
And it's fighting that complacency day in and day out and making him go 100% and say, if you just do this, you dominate the entire game. Not one play, the whole game.
Yeah.
And it's keeping him from getting complacent in that one piece is what's going to set him apart on his good days. And then he has his days where he just comes in and you can't touch him.
Yeah.
Like, dudes will come and try to hit him. He won't even look at him. They just bounce off him. So, I mean.
He certainly has that you know, he's got that next level physical ability, all of those things. And so I can imagine that would be, you know, trying to keep him up at that level.
Yes.
Now, Coach, you're also over special teams, correct?
Yes, I am.
Does Darbone Woods onside kick? Because I think we Chad and I have just seen enough of these opponents.
Yeah, I agree. Trust me, I agree. No, this week we've been working a lot of fielding the ball on the ground, fair catching, I mean, fall on the ball. That's the biggest thing this week.
We saw some, some more traditional, I guess you call it, onside kicks from Buckeye, up and arching.
Yeah.
And then we saw the line drive, exit velo, onside versus Montgomery. I'm hoping somebody just kicks it off to you. We get to return it.
Yeah, I don't see that happening this week. I mean, from what it seems like, they don't have a true kicker. Either that or they don't trust their coverage team. I can't really tell from the film, but I'm expecting them to put the ball on the ground a good bit, pop it in the air like Buckeye did. So we've been prepping that all week, and that's the biggest point of emphasis.
And if I were an opposing team and Ahmad and Keith were standing back there, I wouldn't kick to them either.
Right, right. And that was my thought process with putting 4 returners in the back instead of just 2.
Sure.
Was you kick it to any of them, we can score.
Sure.
And so then now I've got to open myself up to, hey, they're going to pooch kick it to guys who've never touched the ball.
Yep.
So we've got to be ready for it. So that's what this week has been. Just follow the ball on the ground, fair catch it in the air, we're fine, and play it like that.
Usually when you kick the ball or throw the ball to people who are accustomed to blocking, bad things happen.
That is true. This is true.
Usually.
Well, we're thankful that y'all came to be a part of the Coaches Show here tonight. Coach Hill, defensive coordinator, Coach Beard, our defensive line coach. I think you guys are doing a good job. I know sometimes it's a thankless job. Everybody likes to point out what you're doing wrong, but I think you guys are doing a great job. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to be right back to wrap things up with head coach Jarvous Felton. Stay right here with us on the Cougar Coaches Show with head coach Jarvous Felton right here on 446 Sports.
In Central Louisiana, you might see me at the ballparks or soccer fields, or we might cross paths at the grocery store. I'm your local Farm Bureau insurance agent, your local expert when it comes to protecting what you love and depend on. I'm Jason Hawk. Learn more about how Farm Bureau Insurance can save you time and money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK and let me help you protect your biggest investments. Real service, real people. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Welcome back to Route 22 here in Dry Prong, Louisiana for the third installment. We're just about ready to wrap this thing up of the Grant Cougars Coaches Show with head coach Jarvous Felton. We've had an opportunity to talk to a couple of standout football players here for the Cougars. Not only standout football players, but just standout high-quality young men. You can see in both of them, Coach, the selflessness in them. And so, thank you to their parents and thank you to you guys for pouring into those kids. Coach, we are ready to do, like you always say, we're ready to flush Friday night. Mm-hmm. We have built on the good, the good things. We've learned from the bad. Coach Beard was just talking about some of those squib kicks, onside kicks, all those things, possessing the ball, falling on the ball. You don't have to score a touchdown on it. Just don't give it to the other team. That's one of those things where we're learning from the bad. And so we're playing Thursday night this week. Going to be a Thursday night game. Going to have to travel all the way up to Darbone Woods. Have you ever been there, Coach?
Once.
I've been by it.
I had never had the urge to even go.
I've been by it. I'm a pastor, and I got a pastor friend that pastors up there in Farmerville, and His son plays football for Darbone Woods, the junior high. He's not in high school yet, but it's a real fine facility. I drove by it. My whole point in that, it's a long ways from Dry Prong to Farmerville.
It is.
It's a long ride. So
hour and 41 minutes.
Yes, it's a long way. So from a coach's perspective, I mean, how do you manage that? Because, I mean, look.
There's nothing worse than sitting on that yellow cheese wagon.
You're riding
just waiting.
You're riding a school bus. I mean, you got a bunch of young men, you know, football players. Look, you don't want to ride the bus. You want to get out and play football. How do you manage that? How do you keep their mind right while they're on that
bus? It's challenging at times. We have to understand that they're kids at the end of the day, but learning how to for them to control themselves and understand what's the mission. And once we get on this bus, hey, it's focus. It's time to go to work. So giving them time to wind their minds down, wind their brain down, take a nice nap, because most of them don't go to bed when they go home or rest when we tell them to rest. So they'll have that opportunity to decompose before we have to amp that body back up at 7 o'clock.
Has the phrase business trip been uttered yet?
Has that?
The phrase business trip. This is a business
we
trip.
might have to use that one. But the main deal is, for what we've been really preaching to our kids, is let's have a full, complete game. Because like we told them, like, it shows from, okay, Monday we'll have a good practice. Everybody think they're still on that high from that Monday practice, so they kind of slack off a little bit. So I try to, like, preach to them how that can carry over to the game. To where you come out first quarter hot, what do? Second quarter, we kind of dial it down a little bit. You get comfortable. So if you come in here every day and you have that same level of intensity for every day of practice, that will show on Friday. So
you know, that's one thing you talk about. People don't understand. You got to learn how to win, and part of that is learning how to practice, how to continue to climb and peak. You want to start Monday and peak Friday. You want to start week 1 and peak week 10 into the playoffs. You know, and those are things that are not just, regardless of where you're at, those are things that have to be taught and learned and developed.
Because it doesn't really matter what program you're playing at. When you're talking about high school football players, you're talking about human beings. And we know
young human beings.
Young human beings.
That's it.
I've heard the phrase, my wife's an educator, so you've heard the phrase herding cats. So sometimes it can be like that, trying to herd a bunch of cats. But I think you guys are doing a great job. Let's talk a little bit about Darbone Woods. I know we've touched on it a little bit. What do they look like?
They're still physical. They play very tough. They have the right guard that was out last year. He started out in the first half against us, and he got hurt. So he's back this year. He's a junior. Pretty big tight end. Different quarterback this year. I mean, they're going to play hard. Going against a wing T team like this is you have to do your assignment, and you can't try to do someone else's job. So we really, really harped on that with those guys. They start the season out really good. So, and week 1 they play Lincoln Prep, and it's a team that kind of similar how we play and with formations and different things like that. So we got to kind of see, you know, what's some different things that we can do to target their weaknesses to where hopefully we can come out on top.
I hope to see, because you know they all have film on the mod. Everybody's got film on the mod. So you know they're gonna say, okay, number 1's not gonna beat us, okay. But you got some other good playmakers on that team, being able to get the ball into their hand and in space, and so we look forward to seeing how you guys are going to attack them. So we're excited. I want to tell everyone we're not playing Friday night. We're playing Thursday night
at Darbone Woods.
That's
Darbone
it,
Woods.
You can tune in on 446 Sports. follow all the action.
Oh, you could take that ride on down there with us.
We will be there with you, Coach. Yeah, absolutely. Turn in. Kickoff will be at 7 o'clock at Darbone Woods in Farmerville. Cougars going on the road for the first time here. I want to throw out a quick reminder. Get with Eddie Joe Borland, 318-201-7575 for the Grant Gridiron Sportsman Raffle. Wonderful, wonderful opportunity to win you a gun and support the Grant Cougars football team. We are so glad that you joined us here tonight. Join us for Thursday night. Join us next week. We'll be back and talk about Darbone Woods. For head coach Jarvous Felton and for Coach Thomas Laborde, I am Chad James, and we're saying so long from 446 Sports and Route 20.